sure everything is working before we start off things. Welcome in, Brian.
Hey.
So we'll just check how many are on the call. If you are there, just let us know in the comments. And these community events are completely live and interactive, so we want to make sure that we are being as collaborative as possible. You can ask as many questions as you'd like. We can jump into really anything about Power BI or enterprise DNA or even the Power Platform. We're really starting to get big into the Power Platform with enterprise DNA, and we're starting off really kickstarting things this month with some new releases. So Brian, it looks like a very small group so far. We've got, I think, one on the call. So, and I think what we'll do is, instead of having such a light event, we'll just see if anyone is actually engaging on the call. So if you are on the call and you want to be part of a discussion, just let us know in the chat so we can sort of identify who's here or who's not, because it's probably not that useful if Brian and I are just talking to no one out there who's really interested. So.
Well, it just turned 6 o'clock hour here, so I'll bet there are going to be folks signing on in the next few minutes.
Yeah, cool. So, Brian, what are some interesting things that you have been seeing or doing in Power BI recently?
Well, I mean, one of the things that's been fascinating is watching the 2 community events that we've currently got ongoing. One of which is wrapping up the data challenge number 13, and some really interesting entries coming in on that one. A couple came in last night and today, and particularly Zoe Douglas and Alex Badu submitted 2 amazing entries that have been kind of pulling apart over the last few hours and really taking a look at how they did it. So that's one thing. Problem of the week is another one. Really interesting problem that Melissa DeCorte has been running on Holiday Table. And it's kind of a follow-up to problem of the week number 1 that we did all the way back at the end of 2020. We did it in DAX back then. We're doing it in Power Query now. And it's fascinating in the sense that I think so far we've got about a dozen entries and nobody has done it the same way. So it's really interesting to kind of look at the creativity that people are expressing and kind of how they use Power Query and Power BI. So those are 2 things that I've been following lately. As you know, Sam, we've been working on the next iteration of the dynamic learning map, and that's been a big focus.
Yeah. Well, while you were just talking there, I just had a quick look at the challenge 13 and looking at Alex's submission. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just easily one of the most talented designers and developers inside of Power BI. Just so innovative in terms of the visualization. Just really well thought through and executed on.
Yeah, and I happen to think this one is one of his best, which is saying something.
Yeah. Okay, Brian. I don't think anyone's on. Many people are on the call here. I'm showing just one basically, and I think we might, just because of such a low turnout, we might reschedule and make sure we're using everyone's time wisely here.
Just had a couple more folks jump on, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. If anyone's there, can you please write us a comment, just so we're making sure that we're actually talking to someone here. We want to make sure this is engaging. We want to make these events all about a discussion and a collaborative hour at least. Can anyone actually see and hear us? Is there some technical difficulties?
Here we go. We got some comments.
Okay, cool. Okay, well let's just kick on. We'll kick on for a little bit, just because I know it seems like there's a few here. So why don't we just have a go for half an hour or so, Brian? How does that sound?
Sounds great. Okay,
so Brian just mentioned we've got as for those who've just tuned in, this is this particular this community event is just really a discussion between myself, Brian, and the community. And so please feel free to ask any questions, ask anything about Power BI, Enterprise DNA, Power Platform, really anything that is of interest to you, and we can discuss it. Some of the exciting things that we've had going on, Brian just mentioned those earlier, is the challenge, the most recent challenge, and also problem of the week. So some really interesting things to dive into from a community perspective. And then some other things that we've really enhanced lately includes the learning map. So for all of you who have not discovered this yet, when you go into your respective portals, the membership portal or the COE portal, you'll see a link to a brand new Enterprise DNA learning map. And this is a dynamic map or a dynamic curriculum builder for all of Enterprise DNA's content. And it's created completely inside of Power BI. It's something that Brian and myself have personally worked on, and we are really excited about where it's at right now. And by doing it, we've also had many ideas spring up in our mind around where we can take things, with just a Power BI application. So definitely check that out if you haven't already.
And definitely, Sam, if I can jump in on that, one of the things we're really looking for is feedback on that. Really, feedback on everything, but particularly the learning map, because one of the things we heard pretty steadily from folks was that there's so much content that it's really kind of overwhelming when you first come on board to figure out how to navigate through all of it and kind of what you should be focusing on, what order you should be taking your courses in. And so we developed this map to help guide you through it. And there's a bunch of different ways you can use it in terms of fixed paths or choosing your own courses, or kind of a profile development that selects a series of courses for you. And we really want to hear back from folks who've used it in terms of the courses you're getting back. Does that really fit your needs? And have you found it to be kind of a helpful tool? Do you have suggestions for for how we can augment that and improve it? So just want to encourage folks to give it a try, and just to give us feedback on how you find it.
Sounds good. Well, what I can do, Brian, is maybe go into the latest iteration. I know we haven't published this just yet, but I've got it loaded into our testing space in Enterprise DNA's Power BI tenant, and so we could just go into it really. Just a couple of comments here. So Christopher's really looking forward to Power Apps course. Yep, it's going to be big for us. So we're really looking forward to releasing this as well. This is our first big move into the Power Platform, which I think has really got to a maturity that warrants a lot more of our attention. And we've partnered with one of our newest Enterprise DNA experts, Henry, who has created these courses. And they're both, so we're releasing Power Apps and Power Automate at exactly the same time, and they are really comprehensive courses. Like, we're talking close to 7 to 8 hours of content in each of these courses. So they're not just introductions; they're really comprehensive workshop structured courses. So we are also really excited about releasing those as well, and also just sort of kickstarting a much deeper dive into the entire Power Platform at Enterprise DNA. Okay, another quick question here before we just jump into the learning map. What would be a good place to learn more about table relationships when working with SQL-based ERP systems? It's not something that we cover so much. All I would say there is that you kind of, within Power BI, you want to reimagine really your relationships between tables, especially from ERP systems. From my own personal experiences, like dealing with ERPs, is that they are vastly complicated, and their models are set up for hundreds of tables, right? And so in Power BI, what your aim there really is to simplify it. Only grab the tables and data that is relevant to the insight that you want. You generally don't need to access every single data point in your ERP in one model, right? So it's about picking and choosing the right data and then structuring your Power BI model in the most optimized way for Power BI. So, in a lot of cases, it's not really understanding how relationships work in SQL or your ERP. It's about figuring out what is the right data to bring into Power BI and then reconstructing your model based on what's best in Power BI.
If I could follow up on that one, Sam, another thing I would suggest on that one is posting that question on the forum, because Greg Phillips, one of our enterprise DNA experts, is a master in SQL. He's worked in SQL daily for about 10 years and always has really good insights about the interface between Power BI and SQL. So, I think he'll say a lot of the same things Sam did, but, just from practical experience with SQL day to day, I think we'll have some additional insights as well.
Great. Now, just of note, I'll show you how you can access the actual learning map we have live. The one I'm just going to go through in a second is our most latest version that we haven't published just quite yet because we need to make a few additional tweaks, but it's coming out very, very soon. But if you want to access the one that is already available and is relatively new as well, is that within Enterprise DNA's platform, you just got to find platform access, and then say you have membership. Sorry, my computer just runs a little bit slow when we stream. So say I go to membership here. So you'll see custom learning map. And then all you have to do is select custom learning map. And it's the same in the COE portal. And then that will bring you to this particular map. At the moment, I'm just accessing this through my Power BI, my own Power BI online service, because this is our testing space. We have a testing space. And this is the very latest version of this. So the front end looks pretty similar to what it currently is in there, but Brian has worked away and added a lot of information or a lot of functionality around setting up your own personal calendar for your learning based on hours you want to put in, so on and so forth. Okay, so what you can do inside of here, I'll actually just make this a bit bigger. So the idea is that you can build your own learning guide, your own learning map through all of the different content. And so baked in behind this particular application, this model inside of Power BI, is all of the course information down to every single video. And what we've done is we've enabled a way for you to we'll basically customize based on what you want to learn, but also some recommendations based on where you want to get to. And so here we have some recommended paths where you can click on, say, Analytics Mastery, Data Visualization Expert, Power BI Beginner, and you can click on these, and then it will take you to a recommended path, or the model will set up a recommended path for you. Option 2 is where you can customize a path completely for yourself, so you can see all of the different courses and customize it. Option 3 is where you can make some selections around your skill level, the topics you want to focus on, and the course format. You can also type in some specific search terms, and again, the model will throw up a customized plan based on that. What you can also do now is you can specify a time frame. So when you want to, the weeks you want to put into your learning, and also the start date for your learning. And what is built in as well is this customized calendar that is created based off what selections you make here, and also the time frame you want to put into it. Okay, so let's go through just an example. So say, for example, I want to, I'm going to go to option 3 here, where I'm going to select, say, I'm an advanced user. Okay, and so I'm going to click on advanced. Then I'm going to specify, okay, I'm willing to put 6 weeks into this. I'm also going to start the training. I'm going to start it, so we're almost at the end, so I'll go June. June 1st. Okay, so that's all I've done. You'll see down here, you get a quick overview of what is in the path. So what is in the learning path that is going to be created. So 7 courses, 29 hours, 5 weeks, because we're saying we're going to, actually this is specifying how many hours per week. So 6 hours per week, and that's the amount of video. So I'm just going to go discover your path. So I'm just clicking down the bottom here. And so the model does its work in behind the scenes, and then it sets up a custom learning path. So you'll see here that we recommend going through this particular course, so on and so forth. Right? So it's really powerful how it sort of just automatically figures this all out for you based on any number of different selections, right? And what I can also do is now you can click, and this is the latest version, you can click on training schedule up here, right? So I can click on this, and based on this map, or based on that those courses, you'll see here that we now have like a Gantt chart that shows, okay, this is the time you need to put in, and recommended, you can sort of break it up. Okay, this is the recommended week that you need to do it in, based on the time you're willing to put in. And this is totally dynamic, by the way. So if we change a different path, this is going to update based on that different path that, or different learning path or learning map that we are given. Okay, so I can jump back here to previous page. And then what I can also do here, which is really powerful, is, okay, say for instance, there's a course that I really want to dive into a little bit more. I can click on the course and then go drill through to course details. And this is going to bring up every individual video in that particular course. And you'll see here that the videos are all labeled and are all linked as well. So you can see how long the video is, name of the video, and then also the link. And you can click on the link and it will take you. So say we want to learn a little bit about calculating new and existing customers, I can click on this link and it's going to take me directly to that particular video. You need to be logged in to the platform. So incredibly powerful. So that's just one example. I won't go into too much more, but there's so much more you can learn here. So Brian, why don't you just jump in here? And is there anything else that you think would be useful to add?
No, I think you've covered it fully. We're just working now on incorporating all the new coursework into the defined paths, but I think what Sam showed is basically that's the main functionality.
Mm. Yeah, no, and so some of these, especially the schedule, that hasn't been fully released just yet. So that's still got to be released, but yeah, it's looking pretty. In my view, it's a huge value add to what we're trying to do at Enterprise DNA. I mean, the other thing is you can actually create your own completely customized plan as well. And so all you have to do is come in here and select which courses you want. And so I might sort of just clear and start over here. And say I just want to dive into a couple of, say, make budgeting and forecasting, mastering report development, and I can discover my path like that. And same sort of thing. So it sort of orders them for you, gives you a bit of detail about it. You can also get a schedule just for these particular ones. You can dive into these individual courses. So plenty of great functionality there as well. Not sure if this one's set up right correctly, so we might have to look at that one.
That one needs some update on the durations.
The actual content. Yeah. Okay. Right. There's a lot of new content that we've got to actually add to the back of it as well. But that's easy, very easily done on our side. So we'll sort that out. Okay. So any questions? There's only a few on the call, so definitely this is a good opportunity for us to dive into anything that might be of interest to you especially around Enterprise DNA's platform. Also, we've got the Analyst Hub as well. So if you've got any questions on the Analyst Hub, our web-based application, we can definitely dive into that as well. What are some interesting things that you are working on in Power BI for those on the call? I'm interested. What sort of business function are you working in and completing some analysis over? Got a quick question here. When are we releasing the Power Platform courses? End of this week. So a couple of days time, we're going to release those. So very, very soon. I can just show you here actually. Just jump in here. So I'm just in the Learning Center here. And so Power Apps Masterclass and Power Automate Masterclass, these are going to be released by the end of the week. So we've got a release video coming out where Brian and I interviewed Henry, who created the courses. And yeah, I think you're going to absolutely love going through those. I've been through them myself already. And you just very quickly see the potential of these applications now. And then when you think about how you can incorporate those with your Power BI knowledge, it is quite phenomenal what is now possible across, when you're building enterprise applications. Like it is quite amazing. Like I've always been huge on Power BI for many years now, but my mind and my focus is really expanding now, because not only can you create incredible analysis, but you can also create web-based applications which enable you to capture more data quickly, and then and that's by using Power Apps really effectively. So you can start finding and collecting information that you maybe never even thought was possible. And then you can analyze that really quickly and easily in Power BI now off the back of a Power App. But then from that as well, you can actually automate a lot of different actions or different processes off the back of insights or off the back of results. And that is where Power Automate comes in. And just when combining all of these three tools, it is really game changing. What Microsoft is enabling. They're really enabling this completely new paradigm around how information workers like us actually complete our work on a day-to-day basis.
Sam, do you want to talk about? We got a question here.
Yeah, I've been using Power Automate a lot for Power BI solutions, but I'm definitely interested in what both of these have. So cool. Okay, thanks, Christopher. Yep, definitely. There's definitely a lot to learn, especially around Power Apps. Like the Power Apps course is very, very good in terms of giving you not only a solid baseline knowledge of every single important feature in Power Apps, but also just giving you some inspiration around where you can actually take Power Apps, because there's almost unlimited possibilities with what you can do from an application point of view. From a design perspective, functionality perspective, it's just about knowing how to, just like Power BI, it's just about knowing how to bring everything together.
One of the things I think that's interesting, particularly about Power Automate, is that it's something that, with the exception of Henry and Zoe Douglas, the rest of the expert team is kind of learning along with you guys. And so what we're doing is we're going to be putting together a series of videos kind of as we develop in this, in terms of different ways we've found to automate our own work. I was just talking with Jared Moore last week, and he has a huge number of files that he downloads every week, and is basically working on a process through Power Automate Desktop to just automate that whole process and save, potentially hours per week and, thousands of dollars per year in the work that he does. And so he's going to be working on documenting that process via video. So kind of in addition to the masterclass content, we're going to be putting out kind of a regular stream of content on YouTube as we all learn and develop in this area as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that just in general, we're going to be seeing a lot more varied content on the Enterprise DNA TV channel. We want to become, we're becoming much more than just Power BI. Power BI is always going to be our focus, no doubt. But there is going to be a much wider scope around what we talk about, just because these technologies, the Power Platform suite has matured to a point where it's now far more integrated into what Power BI can do, and has always enabled. And I think you can see the importance that Microsoft have sort of placed on these particular tools, especially with what they've done with Power Apps, where they've included, the AI Builder and a variety of other tools. They're sort of just Power Portals is another thing. And then with Power Automate, where they've really prioritized automation as something far more prevalent across the Microsoft feature suite, especially with Power Automate Desktop now, and just a lot more functionality going into Power Automate, like with the ability to automate a lot of things in Power BI through Power Automate. So just all of these things are tying in so nicely together, and it's upon us now at Enterprise DNA to make sure that we are educating and all of our members and all of those who are connected to us on the latest and greatest things that are happening with the Power Platform suite. So yeah, it's a really exciting time for us. Okay. Anything else, Brian? Anything from you or anyone out there? So we do have a question here. I've been asked to find an affordable way with which to get data out of Epicor and also pull reports and data from sister company using a homemade ERP solution. So probably what you want to do there is, if there's no direct connector into your ERP, you need to somehow, the reality is you need to somehow get a connection into your ERP. You can do that by, say, like an API. So maybe there's some sort of custom API. I would be very surprised, though, if Epicor, your ERP solution provider, doesn't have some way to extract the data. There has to be some way. Even if it's a matter of just downloading an Excel file of relevant information. And the great thing about that is that you can automate the extraction of that. If that is the only way that you can extract data, you can automate that with Power Automate. So there's always a way. There's always a way. So going through SQL DB. Okay, well, yeah, if it's a SQL database, then that's great. You can connect directly from Power BI if that's the case. And so it's a matter of just understanding how to extract the data you want. That is the key. You don't want to download every single data point in your ERP, because it's just not going to work within the scope of what Power BI, the data that Power BI can utilize. So it's about figuring out what data you need for the report you want to create, and then going and finding that specific data. And maybe you have to write a little bit of SQL code or get someone to help you writing some SQL code. But that's literally all you need to do. I'm just going to stand up here, Brian. One second. Just have a stand-up desk for my back. Okay. Maybe another question here. I'm using the SQL database for the homemade version. The relationships are causing some issues. Yeah, so that's where you've got to basically just disregard the relationships that are coming out of the ERP. Create your own relationships inside of Power BI. Just totally don't even take notice of what's been created. You need to optimize it for Power BI. The relationships that you can sometimes have inside of sort of more enterprise databases are just not right for Power BI. There's far more optimized ways to do it inside of Power BI with data that has been cleaned up and transformed in the query editor. Okay, anything else you think we can go into, Ryan, or what else?
I think we've hit on the big stuff: community activities, course rollouts. Did you want to talk about Summit this week?
Yeah, well, right now we're running a just a BI summit. So really, it's just from start to finish how to develop a comprehensive and best practice Power BI report. And so it's perfect if you're sort of a beginner user or one of the newest members that have connected with us in our community. So that's just streaming live on YouTube. So you can just check that out on our YouTube channel and get involved there.
But I think that hits the big items at this point.
Cool. Okay, well, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks everyone for attending. Really appreciate you being part of the community, and great to get to know you a little bit better today. And look forward to the next iteration of our community event. Hopefully, we can drum up a bit more interest and get a bigger crowd and get a really collaborative discussion going next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks all. See you soon.